The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39, and verse 25. For the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Shah, Wahara Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect that seeking to be the elect of the nation of Israel. They're scattered abroad amongst the heathen, some looking like the heathen. They give 144,000 preachers, teachers, and prophets. Shalom. And see, all these things are good to the godly, but for the sinners, they'll turn into evil. Why? Because the evil, beginning with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, which trickles down to the citizens of America, the Babylonians, the Edomites, 2/3 of Israel, right? They're gonna fight. They're gonna do everything, kill, steal, you name it, for oil. And this war with Iran is about oil. That's why they deal with it. That's why America did what they did in Venezuela, because of the oil. America produces oil, which is light, sweet crude oil, but Canada, Venezuela, and the Persian Gulf, and we focus on Iran. America deals with Saudi Arabia. They got that heavy, sour crude oil, and that's what it's always been about, man. All right. And when they say America's gonna run out of oil, America has the oil, but they can't really do anything with it. All right. They need that heavy, sour crude oil for the military, jets, and they need it for the diesel engines, and things of that nature, man. That's why things are about to go through the roof. All right, things are about to go through the roof, man. Because you need all these things to transport, food, things of that nature. All right, that's why everything's about to go up through the roof. This is what this war has always been about. America goes to war for the resources, man. All right, I'm gonna play this video right here. This is Professor man, I can't pronounce his name. I'm gonna jack it up. Jean Quinn. My fault, man. Man. But this is her channel. I'm subscribed to the professor, by the way. Elissa Crapaldi Crochet. I jacked her name up too. She re-uploaded his video. Well, I'm gonna play up to the 8-minute 41 minute mark. Where you say, hey, this war is not ending. All right, it's going, man. Hey, they want Trump head. As we brought out by what the Holy Spirit, man, hey, that was gonna happen. Hey, what America did to these nations, hey, they want it back in blood, man. All right, they buried their leader. Had a ceremony for their leader on July 4th. The same time was the 250th year anniversary for America. And they were holding up flags and they want to KO DJT, man. And they making threats. Trump scared. He had to switch up Air Force One planes, jets, whatever planes. Whew. That Isaiah 33:1, man. All right. Well, yeah, hey, get ready for the pain, man, because it's about to happen. All right. It's about to happen, man. This stuff will be through the roof. Gas, diesel, food prices. All right. This stuff will be through the roof, man. And you can expect more job closures too, layoffs. All right, most definitely with trucking companies. You know, that domino effect is going to affect the markets, man, the stores. So in other words, the supply chain hit. All right, it's hit. All right. America isn't running out of oil. It's running out of something worse. That's the title of the video. But I'm going to play this right here.
Let me start with something that sounds absurd. America is about to run out of oil. Now, I know how that sounds. You've heard there's oil everywhere. You've heard America is an exporter now. So your instinct is to roll your eyes. Good. Hold on to that instinct. Because in 90 seconds, I'll show you why it's the exact reaction they're counting on. The president said this out loud. He warned the country could run out of oil. And most people heard the word oil, pictured a gas pump, and moved on. That was the mistake, because he was not talking about the oil you're thinking of. He was talking about a very specific kind. Heavy, sour, thick, ugly. The kind almost nobody notices until the trucks stop moving, the planes stay on the ground, and the shelves at your grocery store start to look a little thin. Roughly 1/5 of the world's supply of that specific oil just vanished from the market that needs it most. And here is the part nobody wants to say on television. The most powerful military on earth looked at this situation, looked at the choke point, looked at the price of losing, looked at the man standing on the other side of the table, and it quietly walked away. So today, we're going to use one tool to understand all of it, game theory. And by the end, every strange, contradictory move on that chessboard is going to make perfect, cold, rational sense. Okay? Let me explain. Because once you see the machine underneath this, you cannot unsee it. Here's the first thing every headline gets wrong. The United States is not short on oil. Not in the way you think. There is oil everywhere. The shale revolution flooded the country with crude. There are millions of barrels sitting in Texas right now. So on the surface, this whole story sounds impossible. But oil is not one thing. Oil is a family of things. And the specific member of that family that keeps modern civilization running, the heavy, high sulfur crude, the sour grade that pours out of the Persian Gulf, that is the one that just got cut off. That grade made up about 1/5 of the global volume that the world's most complex refineries were built to process. Not gasoline for your car, diesel for the trucks, jet fuel for the planes, the middle distillates, the fuels that move food, move soldiers, move the entire economy. Okay? Keep that word in your head, distillates, because that is the whole game. Let me give you the picture that makes this click. A fancy high-end coffee machine. Next to it, a simple French press. Both make coffee, but they're not interchangeable. Pour the wrong grounds into the fancy machine and it chokes. It was engineered around one specific input. American refineries are the fancy machine. Go back to the 1970s and 1980s. That's when the US built most of its big, sophisticated refineries. And they were engineered deliberately at enormous cost to squeeze the maximum diesel and jet fuel out of heavy, sour, low-quality crude. Ugly oil in, valuable fuel out. That was the bet. And where was the ugly oil supposed to come from? The Persian Gulf, Venezuela, the heavy, sour grades. Then the shale revolution hit, and America struck it rich with light, sweet crude, the clean, easy stuff. Wonderful, except the refineries never changed. The hardware stayed exactly the same. So you have a country swimming in light, sweet crude, sitting on top of a refining system built to eat heavy, sour crude. The mismatch was always there. It was just hidden. As long as the Gulf kept shipping the heavy stuff, nobody had to notice. Does that make sense? Good, because that is the crack in the foundation, and someone just found it. Now the second pillar. This one's older. This one goes back to 1973. After the oil shocks of the 70s, the US built a bargain with the Gulf producers. Above all, Saudi Arabia. Simple and genius. The Gulf sells its oil in dollars. Only dollars. And it recycles those dollars right back into American assets. Treasuries, real estate, weapons, banks. In exchange, the United States Navy keeps the Strait of Hormuz open. America becomes the security guarantor of the most important oil highway on the planet. This is the petrodollar. This is why the dollar rules the world. Not because of gold, because of oil. Every country needs oil. Oil is priced in dollars, so every country needs dollars. That is the secret engine underneath American power. That is the real reason the U.S. can carry $37 trillion in debt, print money in 2008, print again in 2015, and keep the whole show running. The military keeps the oil flowing. The oil keeps the dollar on top. The dollar pays for the military. Round and round and round. A perfect loop. 2 pillars: refineries built for heavy, sour crude, and a petrodollar bargain that guaranteed the supply of it. Now watch what happens when you pull the first pillar out. February 28th, heavy crude exports from the Persian Gulf cut off. And at first, nothing happened. That's the eerie part, because the supertankers already at sea kept coming. Cargoes that had left weeks earlier kept sailing into port, delivering into early April, masking the wound. It looked like the system was fine. It was not. The tap had already been shut. You were just watching the water still sitting in the pipe. And when the pipe ran dry, the supply did not come back. Right now, output from those affected fields is running at about 1/5 of what it was before the cutoff. 1/5, 80% gone. And of the oil still moving, most of it isn't coming to America. It isn't going to Europe. It's going east. China, India, Japan, South Korea. Asia is drinking it. Now here's the number that should make your stomach drop. The transit time by tanker from the Gulf to a U.S. refinery is about 42 days. 42 days. So even if a deal were signed tomorrow, even if every leader shook hands this afternoon, the physical oil is still 6 weeks away. There is no fast fix. There is no button. Geography does not negotiate. So what held the line? The Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the emergency stockpile. It stood at roughly 174 million barrels when the serious draining began, at about 1.4 million barrels a day. Do the math. A bridge of maybe 120 days, 4 months, and then the bridge ends. And here's where it gets almost surgical. The public warning, the "we could run out of oil" moment, landed at almost exactly the point where those floating inventories, all those tankers in transit, would finally run dry. When the masking stopped, when the hole would suddenly become visible in the price of diesel and jet fuel. That timing is not an accident. Nobody warns you about the flood while the sun is shining. They warn you when the water is already at the door. Okay, stop. Take a breath with me, because now I have to show you the thing that changes everything, and it is not the oil. It's a piece of paper. Because after the cutoff came a deal, a ceasefire, a memorandum of understanding. And on television, it was sold to you as good news. A mechanism to turn the oil back on. Crisis resolved. Adults in the room. Everyone, go back to sleep. Read it again. Because that document is not a valve. It is a renegotiation of who controls the choke point. And those are very, very different things. Look at the language. The part about sanctions relief? Vague, foggy, nothing concrete. But the part about the Strait of Hormuz? Crystal clear. It hands Iran explicit authority over safe passage through the strait for an initial 60-day period. And it does not prohibit tolls. It does not prohibit protocols. It leaves the door wide open for the country with the longest coastline on that strait to start acting like the landlord. And Iran did not wait. Iran started turning ships back. Vessels that tried to slip through without following Iranian procedure turned around, sent home. And meanwhile, Iran kept selling its own oil, roughly 1.66 million barrels a day, at a premium. At a premium. Under maximum pressure, under sanctions, under the threat of war. And the buyers were paying extra. That is not a country on its knees. That is a country that just realized it's holding the deed to the most important door on earth. The valve did not reopen. A new...
And I'll put the rest of this video in the description box if you want to watch it. Let's close out, man. So you see, again, Ecclesiastes 39:25. For the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for the sons. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour, wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. And people are going to go crazy, man, once these things are cut off. Alright? before they're cut off, the prices are going to be extremely high, and it's going to be shortages. And eventually, all hell going to break loose, and it's going to be cut off, man. All right. So therefore, verse 27, all these things. Verse 29, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fear lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force, and the peace of the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail, famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. See, and that's what it's going to turn into. Complete chaos, man. Total anarchy. See, people's true intentions are going to come out. Demons are going to fully manifest themselves in these people, man. All right, and it's going to be all types of chaos, man. It's going to be death, famine. All right, what to say? All these are created for vengeance. All right. Then verse 30 again says, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. That's the gun. So that's what it's going to lead to, man. People robbing, stealing, and killing each other. It says, they shall rejoice in his commandment. Whose commandment? The Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai's commandment. And they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So the spirits created for vengeance are already here. They're just going to be fully activated once people lose out on the essential uses of life, man. All right? Because these shelves are going to go dry. The prices are going to shoot up through the roof, then rationing. Then eventually the shelves are going to go dry. Gas is going to be rationed at a higher price, and then it's going to go dry. All right? 2 Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear in the sown, and the full storehouse shall suddenly be found empty. You see? It's going to happen soon. Hey, they said tomorrow, which is is it tomorrow? Well, they said the 15th, I believe they said the 15th will mark the four weeks that Trump kept talking about concerning, when he kept saying it's going to be 4 weeks, and they're going to, it's going to be the oil is going to be empty, something like that he was saying. Well, he was talking about that heavy sour crude oil, all right? Which China, as he stated, Asia is getting it. But hey, America, Europe, they're not getting it. You see? So this is what's happening, man. All right? Babylon is going out of power. No, China, they don't have next. The nation of Israel got next. All right? That's why America that's riding this beast. Okay? That's why you see them. They're the ones mainly pushing this digital system, man, which is going to eventually be the mark of the beast. Which this is going to be global. All right? It's going to be global. All right? It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear in sown, and for a storehouse shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear, they shall be afraid. Right? That's the news reports. When they hear that, they be like, oh, snap, people going to panic and freak out. At that same time shall friends fight against one another like enemies. You see, that's the spirit's created for vengeance right there. I'm part of it. Because people are going to turn on one another, man. Why? Because they no longer have the access to the essential uses of man's life, man. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So things are not going to move, man. Alright? Going to be shut down. Also, the power going to go out soon. Alright? So you see, we right here at the end, man. They didn't say that. Verse 25, whosoever of Israel, the elect, remaining from all these that I have told thee shall escape, and see my salvation in the end of your world. You see, Esau, we at the end of your world. And the men that are received, the elect of Israel, shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth. Like the Christian say, everybody got to die. No, everyone's not going to die. What scriptures you reading? All right? And the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turn into another meaning. The elect of Israel getting the new bodies, man. 1 Corinthians the 15th chapter. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. You see? So, hey, that's the kingdom for Israel. The new covenant. No more curses, nothing but blessings. The new covenant. The laws, statutes, commandments embedded in our inward parts. No will no part of the elect. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which has been so long without fruit shall be declared. You see? So we right here at the end. Alright? We right here at the end. Now, real quick, 2 Ezra 15 and 14, because hey, this is what's going to this oil situation is what's going to cause this, and this, which is leading to economic collapse, global economic collapse. This is the reason why all these things together, the people are going to fight against the governments, man, because they gonna find out when it's too late, which they're starting to catch on now, but for most it's too late. This is when they're going to find out that their government has been lying to them. Because they've been lying to them the whole time. Verse 14, 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world of them that dwell therein, for the sword of their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. But there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. You see, people can get tired of that and none of it, and they're going after these figures, man. Political figures, man. The hell with everybody is what they're going to say. That means that they no longer have control of the people. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Hey, that's when the government can say, hey, we got to let the troops loose. Put laws and regulations into place. Shoot them on sight. Alright? That's what these troops for. Order out of the chaos. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, men shall be afraid. The people can tear everything to pieces. Riots, uproars, chaos. The hell with marching. People gonna get active. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy the house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread for great tribulation. You see? So this is what it's gonna turn into. The spirit's created for vengeance, man. Everybody for themselves. Alright? It's gonna be a lot of death, man. Famine and death. Right? These are created for vengeance. And people need these resources to live. Alright? Oil to travel. Hey, oil to live too. Hey, they got to travel to get to the stores to get what they need. Because remember, we're not in the time of wants, we're in the time of needs. Alright? And the only ones that's going to make it are the elected Israel. You see? So everybody else, hey, you screwed, man. 2/3 of Israel, you're going to wish like hell that you took here. You're going to wish like hell you didn't mock the men of the Lord. You're going to wish like hell you didn't mock the prophets. You're going to wish like hell that you didn't mock the names Yahweh and Yahushua. You can wish like hell that you didn't mock this truth. Alright? Because what you did was you closed out your salvation, man. Alright? You just sealed your fate. You rejected salvation. You see? You can wish like hell you didn't do that, but it's going to be too late. Alright? But yeah, man, scripture came to me, man, then it went away. But yeah, I just wanted to hit this real quick through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shah. You know, stay prayed up in the names of Yahweh Shema Shah. Shalom.